14th. Quick one-up video for you wonderful ladies and gentlemen. Markets pressing to new highs. The internals were very, very middling today, so not that impressive, but the theme for my video today is basically low of day is stop. Taking a look at the VIX, we were able to crack below the 20.73. Its next stop should be the 1936, 1884, and 1840. It really should break into the 18s at this point. Should happen, doesn't happen, pay attention. 1936, though, is a very, very key next pass, don't pass line. With regard to SPY, it seems to me that the bulls may try to make a run at 600 here. Money flow really isn't confirming the new highs, but it isn't negating them either. I'd be on guard for a lower high on Tuesday, and anything below 580.73, low of day, I think obviously would fill the gap to 579.58, but would have the potential to have a pullback to 574.71. If we keep on going and we have an inside day, you could use the next day's range, Tuesday's range, as a stop or as a press. It wouldn't surprise me to see a little bit of consolidation given the weak internals we had, but still seems that the bull's in charge, and we actually closed a little bit over the rising wedge high. Qs finally filled the 716 gap to 496.34. We closed a little bit below the rising wedge high, again on guard for a lower high tomorrow, and anything below 495.26 I think probably sees a pullback, maybe do as much as 486.39, which is of course the 78.6 of the range, but it seems to me that the bulls may make a run at the 500 here. We're so close. With regard to the ES and the NQ, very simple. I think you could use intraday VWAPs as your stops. Anything that holds 58.96 quarter is still all right. Below could see liquidation break, maybe even down to as much as 58.66 quarter. Never assume end ranges, of course, and trail down stops. Same thing with the Qs, although I'm using the lower high from the afternoon. Anything over 20,66675 I think is a long. Bulls need to hold on to 20,583 half. If not, we could be seeing 20,538, and then we'd see. Apple acting well, but not at new highs just yet. My guess is that they're going to have to clear the 233s, which has been resistance. This will now be the fourth run at it. Is it going to be 4 or 5 times a charm? Still to be determined, but the bulls do need to get over the 433s and hold for a run to the 237s and beyond. NVDA also getting strong again, almost back up to the old highs of the 140s. We had a 711 reference lower high that became a big dump candle, and we're actually above that. So you could use 136.15 as a stop. Anything below that I think is short. Maybe do as much as 131.26 to 130.05. That is, of course, our end ranges. Never assume end ranges, and there could be support before that. But it would be great if the 10MA caught up to that, and then I'd say it would be definitely a buy. My guess is they're going to try to run it up to channel high. I don't know what day that'll happen, but if it were to do it tomorrow, we'd be in the 147s. And like I said in prior videos, I think everyone would be excited about that breakout and not realize we're at channel high. I would say not quite coming up from the bottom, but coming up from the middle would be pretty stretched at that point. Tesla consolidating, 2 days of hammers. I think if you get up over the 223.34, probably get to the 226 half and maybe even make a run to fill the gap at 238.77. But the more we consolidate here, it becomes more of a bear flag. We're so close to the 210.51, I don't think I'd use that as support. Maybe look to the 200 MA at 202.12. But if we made a run down to the primary trend line, you're looking at 193.84. Amazon is testing that key breakout range between 188.65 and 190.59. Bulls need to clear and extend. If they were to get the channel high, it'd be 197 at this point. Depending on what day it is, it could be 200. But anything that remains below 188.65 is a little bit suspect. The Goog is doing battle with the 38.2 of the range at 164.23. I think 20 MA and low of day are a great stop. You could use 163.40. If we can hold above 164.23, the next stop would be the 100 MA at 169.80. If we were to do the run to channel high, you'd be looking at 176.90, and we of course know that 174.71 to 178.77 has been prior resistance in the past. Microsoft also struggling. It seems that the bounces are getting sold. It needs to clear 426.97 to 430.82. If you want to use the 20 MA as a pass don't pass line, that's fine too at 424.39. Different strokes for different folks. If we do stall here and it would take you back below the channel, there could be a pullback to as much as 400.80. As far as the Bitcoin goes, we actually do have a trend line break, but we are running into 78.6 of the range resistance at 66,233. If that can clear, I think it's smooth sailing probably to the 70,825 with potentially a speed bump at 69,355. We do have a bit of a topping tail today, so be on guard for a lower high. If we get somewhere below 65,605, there is the potential for a check back to the top side of the channel, which needs to hold at 64,826. If not, we could see that liquidation break down to somewhere in the 63,000s to 62,627. Generally speaking, markets are extended here, obviously at wedge highs. Breadth today was very mild, 1.58 to 1 on the NYSE, 2.14 to 1 on the NASDAQ. The AD line was really rather pathetic. It was in the 4 and 500s. The ticks were really middling, no plus or minus 1,000 ticks, even on the power move in the morning. I generally think today's range is key. If the bears are able to crack low of day, I do think there is liquidation break potential, particularly because we are at rising wedge highs, and you could potentially target rising wedge lows, meaning the trend line. I still like using up opens to trim gains. I think VIX is still on the cheaper side if you want to put on some protection. Remember, we liked it more when it was in 15s and 16s, but I still think it's okay here if you want to put on protection given where the market is if you're playing for end of year rally. That's it.